Hello, this is Photoshop tutorials. Today our lesson is how to turn black and white picture to color. We are going to make or colorize this black and white picture to color. First of all, we are going to create a color palette. We are going to create a color palette with this image. So let me crop this image and make it. I only need the face of this image. So now let's proceed to our color palette. We are going to select our color palette from this image. That is what we are going to use to paint this image and make it colored. Let us create new layer and select a hard brush. This is hard brush and this is also a soft brush. This is soft brush and hard brush. So we are going to select a soft brush and use it to create our color palette. So let me zoom or make my brush a little bigger. So I'm going to select a color, the color here, and select the darker part of this image. Then again I go and select again a dark part of this image, then a light part of this image, a lighter part of this image. We are done with selecting our color. Now we turn off this image. We are going to proceed to the painting of this image. So first of all, let us go to adjustment layer. You select gradient map. We have two gradients here. There's one called gradient and this gradient map. We are going to use the gradient map to do our lesson today. Select gradient map. You go to layers. Gradient map, our layer mask has been selected. That is what we are going to use for now. We are going to use the gradient. So you shift from the layer mask to gradient. So you select gradient, then double click on it. Click on the gradient once. This is the darker part of the gradient and this is a lighter part of the gradient. So we start from the darker part of the gradient and go to the light part of the gradient. You create another point here and go to the dark part of the gradient and select on the color palette. Then you come to the light part. At this point you are going to play with the gradient points, the points on the gradient, to make the details on this image pop out. This side, it depends on you, on what you see on the image that you are using. So on my part, I'm coming to play with it to get the details opened. Getting closer to what we want. Press OK on your Photoshop or the option that was opened. Now you see where we are getting to. You go back to layers. You go back to layers. Then you turn the gradient map to color. Come back to your layer mask and press Ctrl on the keyboard and hit I to turn it to black and white again. Now we are going to paint on it and bring the color back. This time around, you are not going to use a hard brush, you are going to use a soft brush. You select your soft brush, you increase the size a bit. Now you're going to paint on it. Let me remind you, when you are painting to bring out the color, you are not going to use black to paint. Black means you are going to turn it to your previous color. White means you are going to bring out the color that you want. You zoom it to just bring out every part of the colors out. At this point, we are done with painting the face of the lady. Now we are going to hit double click on the gradient map, bring out blending modes. Now on the blending option, you see this point here, this gradient point here. We are going to make it feel a little real here. You see, it is looking too harsh. We're going to separate the shadows and the lights on her face a little bit. It is looking too harsh on the edges, at the edges of the image. So you press Alt or Option key on your keyboard to separate the point. You do the same thing at the light part, and on top too you do the same thing. Play with it. You see, if you have never used this side of Photoshop before, you see changes in what you are doing. Okay, you see it is looking a little real by bringing out details on the face. You press OK. Now you press OK, and now go back to your layers. Now we are going to control her skin with our gradient. Let us go back and bring back our image, the image we started with. You select the dark one, or the first point. You select the dark side. Go to the second one, select the dark side, the light side. At this point, you are going to create another hue and saturation, and use this hand. You see the hand that we have selected, this hand. We are going to point on the skin. You see red has been selected here. You spread this side to any amount that you want. This time we are going to reduce the skin is looking too reddish, so we are going to reduce the red and make it look like this lady's skin. So we increase the red. Play with this side too. Reduce the light. Increase saturation. Going to use our sample here. If you don't understand anything, you can leave a comment. I will come back and reply you. Let us go back. Then on this layer mask, we are going to press Ctrl I again. On this side, we are going to separate the shadows from the light on her face. On every skin, there's shadow and light on every skin or image. So we are going to now separate the shadows and light on this skin. This time around, we are going to select our soft brush again and turn or switch this one to white. Increase your brush size. We are going to paint on the skin for you to see what we are doing here. To 5 and also paint on the mouth to bring out the details on her mouth. You can go back to your gradient map, or you can go back to your hue and saturation if you want to correct anything. Let's go back to the gradient map. It's okay. So let's go back to our hue and saturation on the layer. Select it. You can also come back here and play with it. We are using black to clean it. And we are done with the cleaning on the specs, the reddish part of the specs. So we are going to, at this point, we are going to change the color of her dress. The dress is gray. We are going to change it to any color we want. At this point, you go to hue and saturation again, and this time you select colorize. You change hue color to any color that you want. And this time round, you press Ctrl I on the keyboard and paint in the layer mask. Paint with your soft brush in the layer mask. There's something wrong. You turn it to white. Turn it to black and clean this edge. At this point, if you want to change the color of the dress, you can go back to your hue and saturation colors, then change the color of the dress if you want to. If you are happy with this lesson, you can please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment, and also hit the notification button so that anytime we drop a video, you can also watch any upgrade on this channel.